Let's take a look at Chapter 8, Section 8.1. Percents, taxes, and inflation. Perform calculations involving percent. Use percents to represent change. Apply the percent equation to solve applied problems. Use percent in calculating income taxes. Use the Consumer Price Index to estimate the effect of inflation. The word percent is derived from the Latin per centum, which means per hundred. Therefore, 17% means 17 per hundred. We can write 17% as 17 divided by 100, or in decimal form as 17 hundredths, 0.17. Write each of the following percents in decimal form. 36% is 36 hundredths, so it's 0.36, 36 hundredths. 19.32% is 19, it says at first ignore the 32, so 19%, 19 hundredths, 19 in the cent location, reading 19 hundredths, 0.1932. Write each of the following decimals as percents, 0.29 and 0.354. Solution, 0.29 is 29 hundredths, so 0.29 equals 29%. 0.35 would be 35%, so 0.354 is 35.4%. Write 3/8 as a percent. Solution, convert 3/8 to a decimal. 3/8 is 0.375. We may write 0.375 as 37.5%. That is, 3/8 is 37.5%. According to the Office of Management and Budget, in 1970, the U.S. government spent $82 billion for defense, when the total federal budget was $196 billion. 45 years later, in 2015, spending for defense was $598 billion, and the budget was $3.8 trillion, 3,800 billion. What percent of the U.S. budget was spent on defense in 1970 and in 2015? Solution. In 1970, $82 billion out of $196 billion was spent for defense. We can write this as the fraction 82 out of 196, which is approximately 0.418, or 41.8%. In 2015, this fraction was 598.5 out of 3,800, which equals 0.1575, or 15.75%. Thus, you see that as a percent of the federal budget, defense spending was considerably less in 2015 than it was in 1970. The percent of change is always in relationship to a previous or base amount. We then compare the new amount with the base amount as follows. Percent of change equals new amount minus base amount divided by the base amount. Assume that a 12-pack of Red Bull energy drink costs $18.02 in 2010 and $19.58 in 2015. What was the percent of change in the cost of Red Bull over this time period? Solution. In this example, the base amount is $18.02 and the new amount is $19.58. To find the percent of change, we calculate new amount minus base amount divided by base amount equals 19.58 minus 18.02 divided by 18.02 for a total of 1.56 divided by 18.02, which is approximately 0.0866, which equals 8.66%. Thus, the price of Red Bull increased by about 8.66% over this 5-year period. Monty's Autorama is having an end-of-year clearance in which the TV ads proclaim that all cars are sold at a 5% markup over the dealer's cost. Monty has a new Honda for sale for $23,302. On the internet, you find out that this model has a dealer cost of $21,339. Is Monty being honest in his advertising? Is he only adding a 5% markup like he claimed? Solution. Calculate the percent of markup, which is the same as the percent of change in the base price, dealer's cost of the car. Percent of markup equals the new amount minus the base amount divided by the base amount, or the selling price minus dealer cost divided by dealer cost, which equals a difference of $1,963 divided by $21,339, which is approximately equal to 0.092 or 9.2%. His markup on this car is 9.2%, which is well above the amount he stated in his TV ads. Many examples with percents involve taking some percent of a base quantity and setting it equal to an amount. We can write this as the equation percent times base equals amount. This is called the percent equation. What is 35% of 140? Solution. The base is 140 and the percent is 35. 35% is 0.35. Percent times base equals amount. 0.35 times 140. So the amount is 0.35 times 140, or 49. 63 is 18% of what number? Solution. The percent is 18%, which is 0.18, and the amount is 63. Percent times base equals amount. So we have 0.18 equals 0.18 times some number equals 63. Therefore, we have 0.18 times the base equals 63, or dividing both sides of this equation by 0.18, we get that the base is equal to 63 divided by 0.18, which is equal to the quantity 350. 288 is what percent of 640? Here the base is 640 and the amount is 288. Percent times base equals amount is percent times 640 equals 288. Thus we have percent times 640 equals 288. Dividing both sides of this equation by 640, we get percent equals 288 divided by 640 equals 0.45 or 45%. Calculating sports statistics. At one time, the 1995 through 1996 Chicago Bulls had the best record in the history of the NBA, with 72 wins and 10 losses. What percent of their games did they win? The base is not 72, but rather the total number of games they played, which is the 72 plus the 10, which is 82. The amount is the number of victories, 72. So we have percent times base equals amount at percent times 82 equals 72. Dividing both sides of the equation above, percent times 82 equals 72 by 82 gives us that the percent equals 72 divided by 82, which is approximately 0.878 or 87.8%. Calculating your income tax. The table is taken from the instructions for filling out Form 1040 to compute the federal income tax for a person whose marriage status is single. If Jay is unmarried and has a taxable income of $53,720, what is the amount of federal income tax she owes? How did the IRS arrive at the $5,183.75 amount in column 3 of line 3? Solution. In calculating this tax, you must first identify the line of the table that is relevant to Jay's situation. Because her income is above $37,650 and below $91,150, we will use line 3 highlighted from the table. Let's go back and look at the table. Okay. So we find that this person made in the 50, so between the 37 and the 91. So Jay, double checking. So Jay must pay $5,183.75 plus 25 of the amount of taxable income over $37,650. Therefore, her tax is the $5,183.75 plus 25% of the difference of $53,720 minus $37,650. Which equals $9,201.25. The table for part B, the table is treating Jay's income as being divided into two parts. Up to $37,650, she is being taxed according to line 2 of the table. The tax on $37,650 would be $927.50 plus 15% of the amount of taxable income over $9,275. So her taxes, $927.50 plus 15% of the difference between 37,650 and 9,275, which is the $5,183.75. Inflation. Inflation is a rise in the level of prices of goods and services over a period of time. Consumer Price Index, CPI, is a measure of inflation obtained by comparing current prices with base prices in 1982 through 1984. Example, how does the increase in college tuition compare with the CPI? In 2015, the overall CPI was 237, which meant that on average, prices were 237% of what they were in 1982 to 1984. Use the given graph to compare the rise in tuition at public and private colleges with the CPI. Public colleges, private colleges are in red. Public colleges are in blue. For public colleges, we will use the percent equation. Percent times base equals amount. Percent times the 1984 tuition equals the 2015 tuition, where the base is 971 and the amount is 971 and the amount is 9,410. Thus, percent times 971 equals 9,410. Solving for percent, we get the percent equals 9,410 divided by 971, which is approximately 9.69 or 969%. In the case of private colleges, the base is 5,315 and the amount is 32,405, or percent equals 32,405 divided by 5,315, which is approximately 6.10 or 610%. In both cases, the rise in college tuition is more than twice the CPI of 237. Tisk